Hello and welcome to another session of India Employer Forum's Samvaad, our dialogue series where we bring together leaders to explore the changing world of work. I'm Dhiren Makhija, Senior Vice President, Team Lead Services, and I'll be your moderator host for today's conversation, a topic which revolves around global scale challenge. For those joining us for the first time, India Employer Forum is a non-profit community that discusses, understands, and documents the many aspects of employment, employability, and the ease of doing business, especially as we look ahead to India at 100. Team Leads is the knowledge partner providing expertise, research, and insights to multiple IEF initiatives across events, webinars, and more. To set the context for today's discussion, as global organizations are increasingly consolidating their operations as well as scale of shared services, India has become the epicenter for such centers, as well as the HR transformation that we're looking at. The shift is no longer about just centralizing support, it is also about building high performance hubs that deliver value, innovation, and enterprise wide capabilities. In this whole evolution that we see, HR has grown multifold. Your reward strategy, your performance systems, culture, people processes are now deeply interlinked with business outcomes, employee satisfaction, and multiple other outcomes that businesses look at. To discuss these challenges and opportunities today, we have with us Mr. Mayank Jauhari, who's the Director HR from AP Moller Maersk with over 19 years of diverse experience. Mayank is a certified compensation and benefit specialist and a performance and culture expert. He leads the rewards deployment for Asia at AP Moller Maersk. And over here, Mayank, I'd like to just welcome you once again and thank you for taking the time out with us.
Thank you so
So,
much, Adrian. It's good to have a first connect and happy to be on the forum. Looking forward
pleasure
for
is
most of the
all ours.
questions.
So, Maya, one thing that really intrigued me is when I saw certified compensation and benefit specialist. Can you please help me understand and help the audience understand what would this be and a little more about your role over here at Maersk?
And thanks for that. So this happens to be for HR professionals. One of the important skills to carry is to have a certification in the right domain that they work. So if you are into learning and development, you might acquire certifications related to that. Primarily, my career has been built around compensation and benefits, and at the right time, I thought it is good that I should pick up a certification. So this was hosted by Mercer. So I'm a Mercer certified professional for compensation and benefits. I always think that as HR professionals, while being generalist is good, but it's good to carry a back pocket skill as well. And for me, rewards or compensation and benefits happens to be my back pocket skill that I carry.
Got it. Very interesting, Mayank. Mayank, if you could also just share a small brief of what exactly are you doing at Mercer, that would help the audience a little more.
Sure. At Maersk, I started my career in 2017. I've had total about 19 years of experience in various companies and domains. One good thing about as an HR professional I can mention is that you get to work across sectors. So I started with insurance, then I was with PepsiCo for some time, and then Novartis and pharmaceutical, and for about 9 years. That now I'm in with Maersk. In Maersk, I started as a HR business partner for customer service teams, and then for a long time I have done rewards. I led rewards team for Asia Pacific, right from Japan to Jordan, if I were to call it like that, managing it for around 30 countries and about 30,000 employees that we have at Maersk for this region. Currently, I lead the people partnering team for global operations, finance, and corporate affairs and strategy team. I'm based out of India in Mumbai, but the teams that I manage are spread across the world right now.
Fabulous. That helps a lot, Mayank. So if I'm to shoot out my first very question, Uh, with respect to a lot of recent acquisitions that Maersk has been making and presence across 90 plus entities and more, I think one of the most important thing is to ensure that the whole ecosystem has a very standard reward and compensation process. So if you could just go about sharing, how did you go about designing this, thinking about it to ensure that it's consistent across?
Thanks, Dhiren, and it's a very big question to answer, and I'll try to be as brief in my notes as I can. But any kind of acquisition for the business actually starts from the point of view of the strategic mindset that the leaders have. What's the intent of the organization? What's that we are visioning for? Many a times, companies completely are on the constant lookout for the right skills and competencies that a company wants to acquire, and how it wants to position itself in the market. So we are also in the market. We do constantly look out for the right fit of the companies. Whenever we have a shortlist of certain companies, we go with the first phase of due diligence, which is part of any mergers and acquisition. Rewards is an integral part of the due diligence committee. Rewards plays an important part of understanding what are the benefits, what are the countries, what is the employee base, what kind of practices that we have, because that's where many times the devil is hidden in the details. And many acquisitions which do not go right across the world, there is an important element of how the people function was not really well addressed. And hence, at Maersk, we believe that rewards is a integral part of it from the due diligence stage itself. Moving forward, when we look at, we also put inputs in terms of cost benefit analysis, because each uh, acquisition also comes along with understanding what kind of cost that we'll have to incur for the year at the time of acquisition, but also going forward for the larger part of it as we integrate the two companies. The last acquisition that Maersk did was about 3 years back, fully integrated now. It was with LF Logistics, but it was a massive integration that we followed through. It meant close to about 10,000 employees that we had to integrate into Maersk systems. What helps is that we have a very well defined job profiles, job families, and job architecture at Maersk. And we always have very reputed organizations like Deloitte, Mercer, who constantly help us, consult us to tell us how do we look at integrating these organizations. Taking those inputs and our internal systems which are built, we look at the proposals and we go through the integration mechanism. Obviously, these integrations take time. Over a period of time, this happens. One of the bigger challenges we also face is in terms of regulatory approvals, because we operate in different markets, different industry segments, ensuring different employee profiles. So making sure that we are legally compliant in all these respects, sometimes also that also stretches the timeline. The last but not the least, I'll also say, is the technology platforms. While Maersk is currently on a Workday as a platform, but the acquiring company and the acquired company may not have the same systems and processes, for which also it can take a lot of time. So there's a lot that goes behind a mergers and acquisition, and this can be, it's not a function of how many employees, it's actually a function of how many countries, how many businesses, how many entities. So the complexity, even for 500 employees, the complexity could be as big as that you might have for 10,000 employees. So very, very complicated and complex process.
And I think you hit the nail on the head, right? Because as you rightly called out, each geography on a regulatory aspect could have a complete different set of challenges. Doesn't matter whether it's a small set of headcount or no. One thing to it that I'd like you to add is on the cultural challenges. You did touch upon technology, you did touch upon regulatory aspects, but I'm sure one of the biggest challenges that you would face is whenever an acquisition happens, there would be a cultural shift for those employees from their existing setup to the new one. How do you go about handling that? Is there a process? Is there any inputs for people out over there who are looking at scaling operations to your scale?
Thanks, and now we are getting good at it. Maersk has learned it over a period of time. We have an in-house team which is dedicated to organization effectiveness. At the time of due diligence itself, the shortlist of the companies are also considered basis the cultural fit. It wouldn't have made sense that we acquire a company which is not a cultural fit for us. So definitely that goes an input. But having said that, the internal organizational effectivity team takes complete control of the integration related activities. While rewards is one of the parts of it, but they are also responsible from looking at the pre integration kind of a questionnaire. So they launch a survey where they capture the right elements, they ensure that those inputs are weaved into the integration plan itself. And as we go through the different milestones of integration, we keep checking dipsticks on our cultural fit and how we are getting people on board in the system. Uh, I would also mention here that Maersk has a set of its own purpose and values, and this is where the entire each employee at Maersk really resonates with. So it becomes easy for us because we know, like at the back of our hand, we are really aligned to the purpose and values. And just when we are talking to the colleagues which are coming from the acquired companies, it really becomes easy for us to give us examples, artifacts, talk in the same language, and bring them on board. Having said that, as part of the change process, we also follow a work stream which takes care of our milestones related to pre and post surveys, but also do dipsticks between 30, 60, 90 days, all the way leading up to first year of integration. So it's a very well mechanized process. We are not new to it. We have done a lot of our acquisitions, some fairly well. So now I can say that we have kind of learned how to get it done right.
No, no, I'm sure it's very well thought through, and I'm sure this team goes through a lot of pressure during these key times. But hats off to you around there, Mayank. If I may just pick up on one of your other strengths that you did highlight, is primarily on the compensation piece, right? Your compensation work streams, especially when there are HR transformations. And if I know it right, you all went through a huge migration recently on the HR platform, right?
Yes.
So just to understand, apart from the technology challenges that you faced during this whole change, uh, what were the other challenges that you possibly did encounter, and what would be your key inputs on whenever there is such a transformation? What should someone keep in mind?
Oh, thanks. And I'm sure there are many organizations like ours which have gone through it or are going through this, but this becomes a real pain, if I can say it like that. Organizations which are multinationals working across the companies and have various lines of businesses. Over a period of time, they realize that they do not run standardized practices and processes. Even simple things like issuing an offer letter could look very different in one side of the company versus the other side of the company, even within the same country. I can understand there are legal complications and legal entity status, but having said that, the terms and conditions should fairly be similar, because you as a brand, Maersk as a brand, wants to also give that experience to an employee. We want to actually tell them that once you come on board, you are not joining a line of business, but you are making a career with Maersk. And for that, it becomes really important that we are able to standardize that experience.
Mhm.
So about like 6 7 years back, Maersk went on this journey to really capture how do we provide that standardized employee experience across the Maersk board. And that's where we realized on the people function side, we were lacking on three essential things. One was the platform. Our platforms were not talking to each other. We did not have a standardized set of processes, and we did not have organization structure that was supporting these two elements. And with that, we went through a massive transformation, which was not poised for solving for now, but also making this organization which is resilient and sustainable for the next 15, 20, 50 years. And that laid the foundation stones. Yes, we integrated Workday, but we have actually built a lot of applications over it, and we have realized how to best make use of Workday for ourselves. But what's also important is that we made sure that our systems, our policies are talking to the systems, and they go in sync. Yes, we do operate in 130 countries. Yes, we have employee personas of executive level, white collars, and blue collar workforce. So all catering to the varied workforce are still bound by one system that we have right now. And this has given us tremendous advantage, be it analytics, be it dashboards, be it real-time information, be it further paving way for more automation and standardization. All of this has been possible because now we have a one single blackbone as a system available. One thing that I want to also mention here is that when you are actually going through such large transformation, the blocker isn't technology. Actually, it's usually the mindset, and it becomes really difficult to really shift around that because people have been used to a certain ways of working, and when you introduce a new ways of working, it could become really really daunting at times to really just move that sometimes. But I think we have done a fairly good job now. I think we could be one of the best case studies to look at how the transformations have come about. But having said that, this is no easy job. It takes years of effort and a lot of collaboration across the people function domain.
No, no, I totally agree with you. All the viewers out of there, Mayank, would resonate with the fact that Maersk is definitely one of the best case studies with respect to growth, transformation, and more, right? Your scale has been phenomenal. 130 countries is no mean task. And the profiles that are there across are also, as you said, you have your blue collar specialists, so on and so forth. So just to understand, I'm sure contract staffing plays a very critical role from a perspective of scale for an organization like yours. How do you see value coming in out of there, or are there particular skill sets that you really keep in mind? And more around that would help us understand.
Thanks, Dhiren. This is an interesting question, and this is some we see contract staffing as one of the more agile principles of the company. If you were to look at, we do have some seasonality on our business. Not all the months in the year look equal. There are certain months where the peak business is at peak, and sometimes there are low business periods also within the same year. And that's a cyclical process also. Nothing new to that. So Christmas is typically a season when the business picks up. There's a lot of east to west trade that happens across the globe. To cater to this demand, currently we used to have a lot of workforce which was our own. We own our workforce. But on port terminals, we do have contract staffing and to cater to the surge in the demands that we have. Having said that, I think it is also a matter of three things coming into play, and I can talk a little bit more about India also in this context. One is the regulatory aspects. I think the regulatory framework of managing contract workforce hasn't uh, achieved its goals so far. It still comes from a Contract Labor Regulations Act, which is getting renewed as we speak about
Mhm.
the new labor codes. So there's one aspect related to how the government of a particular country sees its contract workforce and what kind
Sure.
of benefits they want to integrate. So that's one part. The second is definitely from the point of view of demand. So businesses like us, what kind of demand cycles do we see? Are we able to really see in terms of workforce management? Are we able to effectively plan ahead and say that these are the times when you can have a workforce which need to be augmented? And the third is the supply side. I think even on the supply side, we are not very structured. There are certain places where you would need workforce to quickly ramp up. You could have unskilled, semi-skilled, and skilled labor, but when and how you fast you can ramp up, I think those aspects are not very well structured in certain geographies. And so it becomes a combination of all these three things to come together to really solve the contract labor workforce kind of environment. But if you were to ask from a business imperative point of view, definitely business like ours need to have some kind of resilience and agility in workforce, and for which contract staffing definitely helps a long way.
As you rightly called out, the recent labor codes hopefully are going to play a very critical role, especially with respect to the gig economy and more. So let's see how that whole thing shapes up over a period of time. Um, if I'm to ask you a little more around technology with respect to AI, uh, that's the buzzword all around, and I'm sure we're looking at AI from an HR perspective too. So, your views around how AI is transforming HR at Maersk, and where do you foresee that shaping up over the next 5 to 10 years would be very insightful.
Yes, AI is a buzzword everywhere. I don't know how many people really completely understand on how it interacts in our world. Using it as an extension of Google as a chat GPT is something else versus getting it to use to really solve business problem is something else.
Sure.
Again, Maersk as a company is quite committed for our customers in terms of looking at how do we enable more seamless processes and better customer outcomes through seamless processes. And that's been our major endeavor to achieve. We are in a unique position as a company because we have our global shared services center, the GSC, which works very closely on all the processes that we have. I happen to partner with them from a people function side as well, and I also get to see of what technology we are deploying for our customers. For a lot of sense, when we talk about customer experience, it's very similar to employee experience for people function domain. So for us, in the people function, we actually see employees as our customers, and we want to get the best of technology implemented for them as well. So we see them synonymous. What we deliver to our customers as Maersk as a company, people function within Maersk wants to deliver it to our employees. Right now, the extent of technology availability on our phones, handheld devices is so high that everybody is exposed to what good looks like. So
Mhm.
I could give you a quick example. The way you book your Uber, uh, why can't you really book your office transport like that? Have our systems mature to that? Sometimes we also see applications like leave application. You need to go through 10 clicks, but if you want to buy something on Amazon, you might just take 3 clicks to buy. Why is that
Mhm.
experience different? So that really prompts us to really see what's we are doing for our customers. Can we actually do it for our employees as well? On that account, I think we have taken one of the big bets as improving the employee experience, and for which we are actually pushing a lot, ensuring that all the data that we have studied in the last 5 6 years of transformation in terms of all employee interactions, how can we actually consolidate, use our analytic tools, and actually process re-engineer in some cases, or make chat enabled solutions available to our customers. But the intent is to really make the experience as similar to what we have for our customers.
So, Mayank, your 2 cents around how global companies are seeing India as the epicenter primarily for your shared services, since you guys really run that out of India. So, what's your take on how are the other companies and other countries looking at India, and what do you foresee as the next growth story for us in that perspective?
Thanks, and that happens to be so. Every other day, if you'll open in any Economic Times or any financial daily, you will actually see at least one story on the GCC and the
Yeah.
GICC world. And some places it's already said that GIC and GCC world is taking over the IT services market. They're close, synonymous. It used to be called ITES at one point of time, but now the common name is GCC, GIC, as we see.
Mhm.
India happens to be a very, very big hub because of two, three big reasons. First of all, is our ability to speak the language. I think why can't China have the same thing that we have? Because we have the language advantage right now.
Mhm.
That plays a big, big role. Having said that, I think we evolved over a period of time. Also, we started with IT back offices. We started with call centers, back office support. But slowly, if you will see across the globe, across India, all the companies have slowly started to scale up and evolve. They are doing value engineering. They are giving R&D as solutions. They are giving global data analytics as solutions sitting out of India. So that has really, really helped. Um, One other thing that I can say is about talent availability. The amount of talent availability that we have, yes, at times we can talk about like how our education system does not give the ready to hire talent, but the sheer availability of talent is huge, and most of the European or Latin American countries actually fail for that, fail because of that. I think these two factors, language and talent availability, are making India the right destination. Also, our journey over a period of time, we evolved in terms of not being stuck to a call center kind of environment, but slowly go into process automation, process engineering. I think that has really helped India in that.
As India scales, I think the next logical point is also going to be how do we really scale talent, right? So, if I'm to rephrase my question, what would that one non-negotiable point be from your perspective when we're looking at creating the next generation of leaders for any global company?
I'll see it in three parts of your question. Actually, the first is uh, what kind of talent? How do we see what is required as a talent? To me, I think what we need is a ready to hire talent. Contract staffing plays an important part, but also is that the new legislation which introduced got on Apprenticeship Act. It is forcing companies to really start engaging with workforce a lot more. There's a 2% rule that we have. We need
Yeah.
to ensure that we are complying to that. That becomes a good place where you actually start skilling workforce much early on. So that is one on demand and supply. The second I would answer in terms of looking at companies realizing the potential of talent. There is understanding and potential both. What is that we need for today, and what do we need for 5 years from now? What so
Mm.
some certain kind of skills like data entry operations, for all you know, it might just go away entirely. You might hire it for today, but definitely like 3 years down the line, you might not need that kind of a talent. So companies to be able to foresee that and what do they need, and they start putting that into plan. This is on the talent side. But if you were to speak specifically on the leadership side, I think it's a big question, but I'll answer what I feel is best required for the leaders in the future. One is dealing with ambiguity. I think the kind of VUCA world that we have right now, everything is up in the air. I think you just need to make the best sense of it and be available. So dealing with ambiguity. The second is, I think, being available to your teams. How do you show that authentic, empathetic leadership? I think that's going to be a key differentiator as well. Gone are the days where managers used to be the task implementers, micromanaging people. I think you can't do that. The kind of workforce that we have, Gen Z, I think that's not going to
Yeah, yeah.
definitely work. The third that I can talk about is about enterprise mindset. It's no longer that much functional domain, but also ensuring that you're able to connect the dots across the company and see how it is relevant to the outside world. Three, I think these are the most critical ones. There could be many, but
Got it.
these are the ones
I'm
that come
sure.
to my mind.
Now, if I'm to ask you to leave all the viewers with one single experience of yours, which you've really cherished over the last 19 years, what would that be?
Being from HR and AI being the buzzword, I can just say one more thing. I think AI will never replace HR. Uh,
Hmm.
in fact, with AI, HR can outperform. The prize
Hmm.
for us is better, faster, fairer talent decisions at scale. So we should
Aptly
really
put.
cherish and bring AI closer to us.
Excellent. Mayank, I would love to continue this conversation, but I think this is where we'll have to pause and take a break. And thank you so much for taking the time out. I think it was brilliant the way you shared your experience around how Maersk has gone about the scale, the challenges that you face across technology, culture, regulatory aspects, the role that India is possibly going to play and what we are already playing. And would love to have a couple more sessions with you going forward. And thank you again for taking the time out for this, Mayank.
Thank you, Dhiren, so much for this. Thanks so much.